80 words per minute for 10 minutes. 5 seconds more. Start. Mr. President, Sir, it is not necessary for me to speak at any great length on this resolution so impressively moved by Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. History and legend will grow round this day. It marks a milestone in the march of our democracy. Through a long night of waiting, a night full of fateful patents and silent prayers for the dawn of freedom, of haunting specters of hunger and death, our sentinels kept watch. The lights were burning bright till at last the dawn is breaking, and we greet it with the utmost enthusiasm. When we are passing from a state of serfdom, a state of slavery and subjection, to one of freedom and liberation, it is an occasion for rejoicing that it is being effected in such an orderly and dignified way is a matter for gratification. Mr. Attlee spoke with visible pride in the House of Commons when he said that this is the first great instance of a strong imperialist power transferring its authority to a subject people whom it ruled with force and firmness for nearly 2 centuries. For a parallel, he cited the British withdrawal from South Africa, but it is nothing comparable in scale and circumstances to the British withdrawal from this country. We, on our side, have also added a chapter to the history of the world. Look at the way in which subject peoples in history won their freedom. Let us also consider the methods by which power was acquired. The transition is being effected with the least bitterness, with utterly no kind of hatred at all. The very fact that we are appointing Lord Mountbatten as the Governor General of India shows the spirit of understanding and friendliness in which this whole transition is being effected. You, Mr. President, referred to the sadness in our hearts, to the sorrow which also clouds our rejoicings. May I say that we are, in an essential sense, responsible for it also, though not entirely. From 1600 AD, Englishmen have come to this country, priests and nuns, merchants and adventurers, diplomats and statesmen, missionaries and idealists. They bought and sold, marched and fought, plotted and profited, helped and healed. The greatest among them wished to modernize the country, to raise its intellectual and moral standards, its political status, but the small among them worked with sinister objective. They tried to increase the disunion in the country, made the country poorer, weaker, and more disunited. The freedom we are attaining is the fulfillment of this dual tendency among British administrators. While India is attaining freedom, she is attaining it in a manner which does not produce joy in the hearts of people or a radiant smile on their faces. We have gained, but we have not gained in the manner we wished to gain, and if we have not done so, the responsibility is our own. And when this pledge says that we have to serve our country, we can best serve our country by removing these fundamental defects which have prevented us from gaining the objective of a free and united India. The body politic may be divided, but the body historic lives on. What we should do is to preserve those cultural ties, those spiritual bonds which knit our peoples together into one organic whole. It is by developing such attitudes that we can once again draw near and gain the lost unity of this country. Our opportunities are great, but let me warn you that when power outstrips ability, we will fail on evil days. We should develop competence and ability which would help us to utilize the opportunities which are now open to us. From tomorrow morning, from midnight today, we cannot throw the blame on the Britisher. We have to assume the responsibility ourselves for what we do. A free India will be judged by the way in which it will serve the interests of the common man in the matter of food, clothing, shelter, and the social services. Unless we destroy corruption in high places, root out every trace of nepotism, love of power, profiteering, and black marketing, which have spoiled the good name of this great country in recent times, we will not be able to raise the standards of efficiency in administration as well as in the production and distribution of the necessary goods of life. We take pride in the antiquity of this land, for it is a land which has been nearly 4 or 5 millenniums of history. It has passed through many vicissitudes, and at the moment it stands still responding to the thrill of the same great ideal. In this great time of our history, we should bear ourselves humbly before God, brace ourselves to this supreme task which is confronting us, and conduct ourselves in a manner that is worthy of the ageless spirit of India. If we do so, I have no doubt that the future of this land will be as great as its once glorious past. So, in a mood of humility, in a spirit of dedication, let us take this pledge as soon as the clock strikes 12.